Down in the land of Milwaukee, at the good old year of 1953, the Milwaukee County Asylum was glowing. Unfortunately, for those who are knowing, the asylum did have a few issues that were more than just a few tissues. They weren't doing as hot as they'd want to be. For while they were succeeding in all their victory, the inmates did not have all the resources they need. They didn't have the mental capacity needed to succeed. So they set up a volunteer program, hoping that someone would get them out of a jam. Then there he came, Pastor Jesse Jabortant. No man was ever more important. The pastor was eager and excited. In manner and mindset, he was united. He said, "Hello, Superintendent. I'm here now. No need to feel defended." The supervisor gave him files, confident and calm in all his manners, and said, "Hello, Pastor. How do you do? Just take a look at these files. Go on. Go ahead. Scanner." The pastor looked through, filing and flipping he did, until one of the thrown-out files caught his eye. He asked, "What about that kid?" True as it was, he was referring to the one slipping out the trash can lid. Be as it may, be as it might, it was some broken man, God forbid. The supervisor chuckled nervously, clutching his tie and coughing. "I'm sorry, but not that inmate. He's done and ready for offing." The pastor was shocked. No way, no how, no path could there be a man that could be beyond avoiding wrath. Why? Who is this man that has to be offed, to be thrown away and key abandoned, to where no man with his salt would agree to go help his guy, not even as a stand-in? His name is Dallas D. Jericho. He was a unique man, one with a terrible past. It wasn't much, but for us, the problems the man had were vast, and though every gut instinct said no, of which were encouraged by the laws, we felt there was no other way. We had to label him a lost cause. A lost cause? No, that can't be right. That can't possibly be fair. How is it that this place has labeled it so that there is no way for him to burden his bear? I'm sorry, but that's how it is. A man with that many problems is unbound, and toward his fate, be as it may, he is a man that is irreversibly down. So no matter what we do or what we say, all his fates and roads lead him dead and fried. Unless, of course, with that look of yours, you think you can become that thing's guide? Jesse had to think this through. Careful and diligent he was. He didn't speak without impulse, only for a pause. Eventually he spoke. "Deal! It doesn't make a difference to me. Give me the lost cause. I'll turn him around, and I won't even charge a fee." So that's what the asylum did. Within hours he was in a cell. Solitary confinement, they called it. He won't lie. He was shivering, every cell and every bit. After all, there he was. Dallas D. Jericho, all of him, with scrawny eyes and bleak hair. He certainly had the look of a grim. Jericho glared at Jesse. He glared, daggers and all, and to the average man, it would be like being threatened by a wall. But not Jesse. He knew that as a pastor he was to remain steadfast. When there was a will, there was a way. Ready with the love of God, he asked, "Hello, Mr. Jericho. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Jesse Jabortant. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. I'm not one who judges, so feel free to vent." Jericho looked at Jesse, staring him down as he goes. While Jesse felt ready, that faded when Jericho asked, "Are you one of those preacher crows?" "Oh, no, sir, of course not. No. I'm certainly not a preacher. I'm not a parasite or a holier man. I'm not even what you would call a leecher. I'm just here to check up on you. Here's what I wish to do. I want to get your side of the story and see what words can help and comfort you." "Okay, I'll recall my tale. Dallas D. Jericho I was. Not a hair nor a say I never did was as bad as I thought. No, it never was, I'd bid, but not all was well in my life. Not everything was meek and tender. I don't know if it was just me, but I had an obsession with the opposite gender. Oh, I loved women, I did, but I was never good at chatting with women. Of that I'm sure I never was. To them, I was always a bit of a creep, the kind you would find in your coat's fuzz. Eventually, I stopped flirting altogether. I knew that if I kept pushing and forcing, I'd eventually scare all women off, and the idea of being near me would be blood-curdling. So, I turned to my studies, I did. Arts, engineering, and writing were they, but nothing was coming of my successes. Everything turned and failed in every method and way. I started feeling worse and worse,
When someone tried to console me, I'd cuss out, I'd curse, I'd roar, I'd bite, I'd go so far as to perform flush-outs. I started losing friends after that. All friends came and went, I saw. Eventually, I had no friends left, just my ability to bite and draw. I was broken, I was friendless, I had no chance of ever finding trust. I knew at these moments, after everything just ended up becoming a bust. It started bad, but got worse as time progressed. It was the most painful all-time ride, until 1 year, 1 day, 1 month, when I decided to go rock the bye and commit suicide. It was supposed to be simple, self-poisoning and the like. I thought there was no way I'd escape the bike. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. As I fried and thrown and scratched, I made a mistake, I did. I allowed the neighbor to see the whole damn scene! He called the ambulance, the police, he called the firemen, he did. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think there was a chance that I could live. Eventually, after I was cured of poison, I thought everything was fine, and then some. Unfortunately, my actions and the behaviors that led up to them led to the authorities deciding to throw me into the asylum. At first it was just routine-all, head exams, psych checks, warts and all. But after reading my history and my issues, that is when everything began to fall. After a while, they came to a conclusion. It didn't matter what they tried, whether they cried, whether they had to hide, or anything else they had to take in stride. It was obvious, and almost without no pause, they stopped the psych tests, for they have declared me a lost cause. Now, we get to today. I've just been sitting here, slumping, for there is nothing left for me here, nothing here that is worth going and jumping. So, I ask you, Mr. Pastor, is there any chance for me to have a life outside the asylum, to gain back respect, and be free?
I was shocked, to say the least. I had to give this some thought. Is there a way, I wondered, to assure this man that he would not rot? It took me a few minutes. It felt like a long while. Eventually, however, I was able to answer with a soft smile. I will consent that you have lived a harsh life. No one is debating the matter, whether you are beyond hope or redemption. I actually think you are the latter. You've made mistakes. You've given in to misogyny. You've made people turn on you brutally. You fell into behaving primitively. But that doesn't mean you are beyond hope. It doesn't mean you're beyond saving, nor does it mean you are below forgiveness. I know this, I know, because you are still capable of things that are anyone's guess. You still have a spark of rue and sadness, and we simply cannot turn a blind eye. I know I would never leave you to rot and eventually die. Dallas D. Jericho. Live, enjoy life, collect memories that will end up on a shelf. But to eventually find yourself in reliable redemption, you must first be able to forgive yourself. My wisdom seems to have done the trick. At that moment, he no longer felt blue. It felt like his aura had changed color to something more warm, for starting anew. I knew then that my job was done, as I told him that I looked forward to the next visit. I left to the lobby area, where the guards and supervisor looked surprised, and trust me, their looks were quite exquisite. The supervisor asked, "How? That man was beyond redemption. There should have been no way, no how, no path for him to become an exemption." I simply smiled and responded, I knew there was no way he was that bad. I knew there was no way after that glance. I knew that just by listening and hearing him out, that there would ultimately be open for him a chance.